Hi, it's me, Fear No Rocky, and I'm telling you a joke. A guy walks into a sauna, and there are two guys in there already, and they are smoking a joint. And the other guy is sitting beneath them, and he's looking to them and again, and he can't hold it inside for as long as 20 seconds, and then he asks, "You guys, really, sorry, I have done everything, like I injected myself stuff, tried chemistry, like doing chemical stuff, and yeah, I did the nose thing, like everything, and obviously I drank and I smoked a lot, but a spliff in a sauna, I never tried that. Is it good though?" And the guys are like, "Yeah, man, that's really nice." And the guy's like, "Can I try it?" And they say, "Of course, man." And they give him the joint and he tries it. And he doesn't realize anything. There's no effect, like not even taste. So he tries it again, like putting the joint here and really hard. But still, nothing. You guys, maybe your weed sucks or the sauna idea is just crap, but it doesn't work out for me. And he gives the joint back and the guys take it and say, "Man, that's not our problem, it works out for us." And they do not continue talking, and we're just sitting there, and a minute or so later the guys stand up and leave the sauna, and through a bullseye, I guess, in the door, he, like a small window, he can see them outside, and he sees like, they are showering, they're packing their things and their bags, and then they grab his bag with the money, with the keys, with his clothing and everything almost, and they run. And he's like, "What the fuck?" And he starts running after them. And the only thing he had left, his towel, fell down. And he runs naked on the street. And the guys are driving away in a car. And he's like, "Taxi, taxi!" And there's one taxi cab there. And the cab driver comes to him and says, with the cab, and says, "What the fuck, man? You're naked. What is wrong with you?" And he says, "The guys, my bag, sauna, thieves, get them!" And the cab driver is like instantly, "Yeah, this is a chase, let's do it." And the guy gets into the car and they start the chase, and it's wild. It's going through the city and it's going beneath some ducks, and ducks almost get killed. But then again, nothing happens, just some feathers and some afraid kids there, like crying, big adventure for them, but nothing instantly happened. Maybe a duck later had some solving issues with those traumatizing events, but it's not important. So the car chase moves on and they leave the city, and from there on out it's the guys, the thieves, have a BMW, and the taxi in Germany are usually Mercedes. So the Mercedes driver, who knows that, stops the car and says, "I can't catch those guys on a straight street, doesn't work. This is €93.50. And the guy says, "No, you know my story. Just drive me home to my wife and I will give you like big tip, 130, 140, no problem. You just really did a good job here and I thank you very much, and please drive me home." And the cab driver is like, "No, man, I drive you to some place close to your home, you run into the bushes and you're gone. Like as if I ever catch a naked man. So no, money or cops, this is your choice." "No, please don't get me to the police. This is such an embarrassing situation, I reckon that it takes hours for them to get all of this and to get me some clothes on, and it doesn't give you your money faster, and it's not good for me. Maybe later when I dressed, but not now, please not." And the driver's like, "Dude, money or cops or you blow me. This is like €93.50. It's like the amount of money that would cost. It's a fair deal." And the guy's like, "No, man, are you disgusting? I never did that. Why would you ever ask that from me?" And the taxi driver says, Why the fuck would a man ever ask that? And the fact that you never did that obviously makes it even more attracting to me. So you have your choices, man. Money or cops or blowing. And the guy says, no, those are not the choices. This is disgusting shit, man. Let me out of the car. What do you want from me? This is like it's blackmailing me. What? And the guy says, no, man, the joke is definitely too long. So you gotta make a decision here, right now. You know your options. And the guy decides for blowing because he doesn't have the money. He doesn't want to go to the cops, so he blows him. It was an honest declaration. He never blew a man before, and so he doesn't know how to do it really well, and he uses his teeth a bit, and his tongue is like very it's not beautiful, like really not, and also not for the cab driver obviously. And he says, you know what, you're like a disgusting freak, get out of my car. Talking for himself, yeah. He's driving away, and the guy stands totally naked on a lonely street in the woods, and he needs to take a crap. So he goes behind the next bush and he buckles down, and he really has to push hard, and he gets a nice black huge dragon out on the ground, and it sits there and is finished. And then somebody tips on his shoulder. Hey dude, maybe our weed is not as good, but is that a reason to take a crap in the sauna? Yeah, if you like that joke, please subscribe to my channel, share it, and become a patron. Support me and these brilliant jokes that are out there in the world to be told by me to you. And whatever, I can tell you more jokes if you want to. It's always possible. There are so many jokes out there. So I hope you like this one. It has a background story though. The background story is kind of magical because it was this place, the joke was told to me, by a guy who literally had marijuana implied into all of his food supplies. It was inserted. Like he had huge chunks, that's the way he told us, and he was very labely. He obviously had money because his stuff was all new. He was like all spandy all over the place, and he was nice. We played volleyball with him like 25 years ago on this place, and no, that's too much. No, 20 years ago, more like 20 years ago. And he had like THC and PBC concentrate, like a marijuana concentrate and everything. He had this made by butter. He just used a very pure organic butter, or like good butter. I don't know back in the day if organic was such a big thing, but if so, it was for this guy. And he bought very good marijuana from a friend who himself grew it. And he crushes all that. Or that was a story he told me back in the day. He crushes all of that, and he makes a huge chunk, like 2 kilogram butter. Now I just talk German like English people thinks German people would speak. It's obviously just 2 kilogram butter. But yeah, if you think of us like 2 kilogram butter, that's how we sound, obviously. It's kind of funny, I think, but not for you, obviously. So, yeah, he made this like really strong THC butter, and he had it in everything, like his food. He used it to make cookies or bread, and he used it for drinks also. And yeah, he had this like marijuana-ishy smoothie drink, which was very ice cold, and he had 2 of those, like in very professional ice colding thermo bottles. And he was playing volleyball, and we were meeting him, and he was building pure roll joints, like really big ones, like he was really into that shit. Yeah, obviously he was a true believer into Mary Jane, and he was also a straight up working guy, like a motherfucking genius on his behalf. Seemed like it anyway. And he told me the joke because he told me the story that he had a Russian girlfriend, and she was into the family with Russians that still are in Russia, yeah, and her family rooted in Siberia. And some of their close, familiar, related brothers and sisters and like shit, you know what I mean. Their close family, their first grade family, was still most of the time in Russia, in Siberia. And they had some Dutcher there, and that's where this guy went. And the guys in Russia also were big-time marijuana smokers, big time. They had out there in Russia, they had their own land, and they had their deals with the local sheriff or something, I don't know how it's called there. And they had also a sauna, and it was winter time, and they were sitting in the Russian sauna on some village in Siberia, and this beautiful Russian model woman and her two brothers and himself were in the sauna smoking a big joint. And the two guys from Russia invented the joint in Russia in their own sauna, which they used to smoke joints in. So that seemed like a believable backstory for the joint joke. Yeah, I thought this is believable. Maybe one of the brothers catched it up in, I don't know, Novosibirsk, Taiwan, or in some other sauna, because the guys obviously were into saunas, and it's easy to claim a joke as your own. But the joke has to get a starting point, so somebody has to build it. It wasn't that guy, but he did not take credit for it, but he believed to know the origin. Yeah, he believed in that origin story. I believe him too that this was the original way it happened, but it's not quite sure that the joke really was born there. But in narrowing down a cultural starting point, this is as close as it gets. I mean, there's a Russian sauna in Siberia with two growers and rich guys. They smoke for fun and take other drugs for fun and drink for fun. And they have lots of time because they're kind of rich for Russian structures. And yeah, funny guys, they came up with a joke. It's believable, you know. I came up with a lot of shit and I was smoking. Not all of the time, but yeah. I think it could be true. What do you think? If you like this story, the background story, please like and subscribe and become a patron and share this shit and send me some money, because I really need it. I mean, like, I think a Kriebelmücke, I don't know what it is in English, Kriebelmücke? I don't know. You know, this flying blood-sucking parasites, just like vampires? Like, what are those called in man, mosquitoes. Yeah, no, not mosquitoes, but kind of mosquitoes. I don't know the English word now. But I will look it up, and then we have another kapitel on Kriebelmücken later day. I don't know if it was Kriebelmücke really. Have to look for it later. Have a nice day. This was Fear No Rocky.